Buyers scroll right past these cars because they look boring, old, strange, or too cheap to deserve attention. That is exactly why smart shoppers still find value here. These overlooked vehicles have simple repair paths, real parts support, and prices that leave room in your wallet for maintenance. Number 1 is the car people misunderstand, then pay extra to avoid. Number 10. Pontiac Vibe Base, 2009 through 2010. Most shoppers see the Pontiac badge and keep walking. That is the secret. The base Vibe hides a Toyota-related 1.8-liter 4-cylinder, ordinary port injection, and either a manual or conventional 4-speed automatic. Kelley Blue Book pricing puts a normal 2010 Vibe around the middle $3,000 area, with cleaner examples higher. That is value, when a similar matrix often gets more attention just for the Toyota name. Buy the base front-wheel drive Vibe from 2009 or 2010. Skip the GT and all-wheel drive versions unless the seller can prove good oil history and a clean inspection. The base setup avoids turbo heat, direct injection worries, and a complicated transmission. That keeps the repair path simple. The Vibe is not perfect at all. Look for pink coolant residue near the water pump. Check the reservoir cold, and inspect both rocker panels and rear hatch seams for rust. Then hold the brake. Move the shifter from park to drive, then reverse. A hard bang may be a tired mount, not a deal breaker, but it changes the price. Read every tire date code too. Old tires can turn a low-dollar hatchback into a risky first highway trip. Picture a careful buyer. He finds 2 Vibes at $4,200. One has fresh black spray under the rockers and 10-year-old tires. The other has a plain body, service receipts, and newer rubber. He buys the less shiny one, keeps money in his wallet, and avoids a false bargain. This is the commuter pick for someone needing cargo room, low fuel use, and a survivor that does not demand crossover money. Skip it for towing, 5 adults, or long luxury road trips. The next car trades tiny fuel bills for big sedan comfort and a drivetrain built around old-fashioned rear-wheel drive. If this kind of straight car talk saves you money, subscribe. We care about the engine, the records, and the repair path before the seller starts talking. Number 9. Ford Crown Victoria LX, 2008 through 2011. At first glance, it looks like the car is parked outside an airport hotel, and that is why the market lets these go cheap. A clean civilian LX is not the same purchase as a tired police interceptor. Kelley Blue Book places many ordinary 2008 through 2011 Crown Victoria LX sedans in the mid-$3,000 to mid-$5,000 range, depending on miles and condition. Buy a civilian LX with records, clean underbody metal, and no strange fleet history. Skip former police cars or fleet cars unless you can verify idle hours, crash history, cooling work, and transmission service. Under the hood is a 2-valve 4.6-liter V8, a rear-wheel drive layout, and a conventional 4-speed automatic. It drinks more gas than a compact, but it offers big parts availability and a simple repair path. The buyer who wins here wants a wide seat, huge trunk, easy entry, and highway comfort, not high gas mileage. Crawl under the rear frame rails and look for flaky rust, especially near suspension mounts. At the front, inspect cracked ball joint boots, loose tie rod ends, and tired bushings. Turn the steering wheel slowly at idle and listen for groans or clunks. Then drive it for 20 minutes. A smooth first shift means little if the transmission flares warm. A former fleet car with neglected fluid can become a money pit fast. Look around the intake and hose connections for dried coolant too. A Crown Victoria is not a glamorous choice. It is a value choice when the body is solid and the maintenance is real. Walk away from a seller who says every police car was carefully serviced, because the service folder should prove that claim. This one suits a buyer with a long commute and a soft spot for old-school sedans. The next vehicle sits higher, carries more cargo, and shows why a dated crossover can be cheaper than a newer turbo problem. Number 8. Ford Escape 2.5, 2010 through 2012. Watch what happens when a buyer compares this old Escape with a newer small crossover. The newer one may have a bigger screen. The Escape may leave more money for tires, brakes, and the first repair. Kelley Blue Book shows clean 2010 and 2011 4-cylinder Escapes commonly sitting around the low to middle $3,000 range, with better trim and lower miles costing more. Focus on front-wheel drive, XLS or XLT models from 2010 through 2012 with the naturally aspirated 2.5-liter four-cylinder. Skip unknown history cars with a wrench light, reduced power complaint, or no scan report. The 2.5 avoids the turbo plumbing found in later models, and it has a conventional automatic instead of a dual-clutch setup. That is not a promise of trouble-free driving. It is a simpler ownership layout. Ford issued a customer satisfaction program for certain escapes because electronic throttle body contamination could trigger a wrench light and reduced power. That old coverage is expired, so it is now your wallet at risk. Turn the key on and confirm the warning lights come on. Then go out. Scan for stored codes. Drive at a steady speed and see whether the engine hesitates or loses power. After that, inspect the front subframe and rear suspension for rust. Keep driving until the transmission is fully warm, because a cold test can hide a risky shift. This is a good fit for a driver who wants a higher seat, a modest cargo area, and a useful daily vehicle without late-model crossover costs. It is not for heavy towing, serious off-road use, or someone chasing premium fuel economy. The Escape is the practical middle ground. But the next hatchback proves all-wheel drive can come in a package most people ignore as a parts problem. Number 7. Suzuki SX4, 2009 through 2010. A snowy grocery lot is where this little oddball makes sense. Buyers assume they need a large SUV for winter, then ignore the tall hatch with available all-wheel drive because Suzuki disappeared from American showrooms. That fear creates the secret. Kelley Blue Book price data puts many 2010 SX4 models near the low $2,000 range before condition, mileage, and local demand change the number. Buy a clean hatchback with the 2.0-liter engine in either the manual or a documented conventional automatic. Skip a CVT with missing service history, missing keys, or evidence that the all-wheel drive system has been ignored. The engine is naturally aspirated, the car uses regular gas, and the basic drivetrain is simple compared with a newer turbo crossover. The main ownership risk is not exotic engineering, it is rust and parts planning. Look along the rocker panels, rear subframe, and front axle boots. Listen for wheel bearing hum that rises with speed. Test every power window, lock, and key because small electrical issues become more annoying when a brand leaves the market. On an all-wheel drive example, make sure the dash mode changes correctly and drive it slowly through a tight turn with the system engaged. Any binding, clunk, or warning light deserves a closer look. Linda found an SX4 listed for $2,900, but the shiny paint hit a rotten rear subframe. She walked away and bought a less flashy one with clean metal, working all-wheel drive, and service records. That is the cheaper decision over time. This is for a snow state commuter who wants a hatchback, easy parking, and a low entry price. It is not for a buyer needing easy dealer parts access or quiet luxury travel. The next car wears a premium badge, but its real value rests on one document that can save you from an expensive engine mistake. If this list has already made you slow down before buying, subscribe. We focus on real prices, real weak points, and the cars worth keeping. Number 6. Acura TL 3.2, 2007 through 2008. Cheap luxury usually comes with a catch. Here, the catch is easy to name and easy to respect. Timing belt proof. Kelley Blue Book places a 2008 Acura TL 3.2 around the middle $4,000 range in normal condition, although clean, low-mile cars and dealer listings can ask more. Buy the base TL from 2007 or 2008 with paperwork showing timing belt and water pump service. Skip modified Type S cars, missing service folders, warning lights, oversized wheels, and sellers who wave away a belt interval. The base model uses a naturally aspirated 3.2-liter V6 and a 5-speed automatic. It gives you a refined cabin without turbo boost, but the timing belt is non-negotiable. Ignore it, and you can turn a value sedan into an expensive engine repair. Ask for the invoice. Do not accept a story about a previous owner. Then inspect the power steering area for fluid seepage. Test every window, seat motor, climate button, and warning light, and check tire inner edges for uneven wear. Drive it fully warm and feel every shift from the 5-speed automatic. A delay or flare is a red flag. Carl nearly bought a TL for $4,700 until the seller could not show timing belt paperwork. Pricing the belt, water pump, and tensioner before buying saved him from treating missing records like a minor detail. That is the right order. Records first, excitement second. This Acura suits a buyer who wants a mature commuter, good highway manners, and can keep a maintenance reserve. Walk away if premium fuel, a belt job, or aging electronics would strain the budget. The next vehicle gives you wagon space, a lower price, and another service item that must be proven before the word bargain belongs anywhere near the listing. Number 5. Hyundai Elantra Touring, 2009 through 2010. The crossover crowd created a quiet deal for anyone willing to buy a small wagon. The Elantra Touring does not sit high, wear a rugged badge, or pretend to be an adventure machine. That is its value. Kelley Blue Book values for ordinary 2010 Elantras sit around the middle, $3,000 range, and a clean Touring can still leave room for baseline service. Buy 2009 or 2010 Touring models with timing belt invoices, a clean cargo floor, and no corrosion around the rear suspension mounts. Skip anything with missing belt history, overheat signs, heavy rust, or wheel bearing noise. The 2.0-liter four-cylinder and conventional automatic keep the drivetrain simple, but the timing belt is the line between cheaper ownership and a major project. You need proof that the belt, tensioner, and water pump were serviced, not a seller pointing at a clean engine cover. Look for a dated sticker under the hood, then ask for invoices. Check the coolant level cold. Examine the water pump area for dried residue. Fold both rear seats and lift the cargo floor for dampness. On the road, make a long, gentle turn and listen for a bearing growl. A wagon with cargo room is only useful when the rear seats lock and the cargo floor is dry. This is a strong choice for a couple, a small family, or an older driver who wants more space without SUV costs. It is not for serious towing, deep snow, or a buyer who needs all-wheel drive. The Elantra Touring is a quiet cargo tool, but the next compact gives a sharper drive, more common parts support, and one underbody check that can decide the whole deal. Number 4. Mazda 3, i 2010 through 2011. Not every fun compact needs a big repair budget. The trick is finding a stock Mazda 3, i before a young owner turned it into a loud project. Kelley Blue Book pricing shows basic 2010 Mazda 3i sedans around the mid-$3,000 range, while cleaner touring cars and hatchbacks rise higher. Buy a 2010 or 2011 sedan or hatchback with the naturally aspirated 2.0-liter engine, normal wheels, and stock suspension. Skip lowered cars, oversized wheels, loud exhausts, mismatched tires, or anything with questionable accident repairs. The I model uses a conventional automatic or manual, not a CVT, and the 2.0 avoids turbo heat. That makes the mechanical side fairly simple. The body can still turn the deal into a risky mess. Run your hand around the rear wheel arches, inspect all 4 rocker panels, and look under the car near the rear suspension. Surface corrosion is one thing. Flaky metal and fresh undercoating deserve a red flag. Drive over broken pavement and listen for front strut mount noise. Look at the inner tire edges for uneven wear, because suspension trouble often shows there before the seller admits anything. Make sure every warning light comes on and goes out. This is not the cheapest compact on paper, but it can be a better value than a newer car with a weak transmission and a big payment. It suits someone who likes a connected steering feel, but still wants normal parts store maintenance. Walk away from the modified example with a cheap intake, loud pipe, and no records. The next pick has less power, less image, and less weight, but it may be the smartest cheap commuter in the whole countdown. Number 3. Toyota Yaris, 2009 through 2011. People laugh at 100 horsepower until they notice how little this tiny Toyota asks from their wallet. Kelley Blue Book values put ordinary 2010 Yaris hatchbacks in the low to middle $4,000 range, with sedans sometimes bringing more, depending on condition and location. Buy 2009 through 2011 models with a 1.5-liter engine and a manual or conventional 4-speed automatic. Skip rusty northern cars, salvage titles, tired fleet cars, or examples with damaged seat rails and neglected tires. The 1.5 is naturally aspirated, lightly stressed, and paired with a simple 4-speed automatic when equipped. No turbo, no direct injection, no complicated shift logic. That is simple ownership, not magic. Age can still create rust, brake wear, worn shocks, and a safety problem on old rubber. Lift the cargo floor and inspect the spare tire well. Check both rocker panels. Read all 4 tire date codes. Look through the wheel spokes for uneven brake wear. Then drive until fully warm and feel the transmission shift. A light car on 10-year-old tires is not a value. It is a risky shortcut. The Yaris makes sense for a single-driver city commuter or older buyer who wants easy parking and low fuel use. It is not for frequent adult rear seat travel, hard highway passing, towing, or moving heavy furniture. Never buy one just because it has low miles if the underside is rusty and the tires are ancient. The next vehicle is the opposite idea, a truck-based SUV with a V6, a strict year rule, and one transmission danger that smart buyers refuse to ignore. If you want car advice built around the engine, the records, and the repair bill, subscribe. The dealer can sell payment. We protect your wallet. Number 2. Nissan Xterra, 2011 through 2012. A muddy driveway or a weekend camping trail is where this old SUV earns its place. The Xterra looks like a simple truck because it is built more like one than a soft crossover. Kelley Blue Book puts a 2011 Xterra X around the mid-$6,000 range, though clean 4-wheel drive examples can cost more. Buy 2011 or 2012 X or S models with the 4.0-liter V6 and 5-speed automatic. Skip 2005 through 2010 automatic Xterras unless the seller has documented radiator replacement or a proper bypass. Earlier trucks could suffer a radiator-related failure where coolant and transmission fluid mixed. That is the kind of damage that turns a cheap SUV into a project. The later 2011 through 2012 window avoids the main years tied to that problem, but it does not make inspection optional. You still need to check the transmission fluid color and smell, inspect the frame rails and rear leaf spring mounts for rust, listen for cold start timing chain noise, and test 4-wheel drive on loose ground where it is legal. A shutter, warning light, or delayed engagement is a red flag. Look inside the cargo area too. A scratched floor is normal. Wet carpet, broken hatch hinges, and loose seat hardware tell you how the previous owner treated it. This is for a buyer carrying camping gear, towing light loads, or driving rough roads where a regular crossover feels fragile. It is not for city drivers who hate gas bills or need car-like ride quality. The Xterra is a value only when the history is clear, the fluids look right, and the frame is solid. Walk away from the cheap one with pink transmission fluid, a rusty rear mount, or a seller who says the 4-wheel drive just needs a switch. Number 1 is quieter, softer, and easier to live with every day, but it shows why confusing styling can make an excellent long-distance car cheaper than its popular rivals. Number 1. Toyota Venza 4-cylinder front-wheel drive, 2009 through 2011. The market never knew what to call the Venza. Sedan buyers thought it was too tall. SUV buyers thought it was too soft. Minivan buyers needed more seats. That confusion is the secret, because a vehicle nobody can categorize often becomes a better value than the one everybody recognizes. Kelley Blue Book shows a typical 2010 Venza around the high $5,000 range, while rougher or higher mile examples can be lower and clean low-mile ones can move above $7,000. Focus on front-wheel drive, 2009 through 2011. 4-cylinder models with the naturally aspirated 2.7-liter engine and 6-speed automatic. Skip all-wheel drive examples with no drivetrain fluid history, V6 examples without clear cooling records, and any car with an unresolved safety campaign. The 4-cylinder makes 182 horsepower, and the 6-speed automatic keeps engine speed reasonable on the highway. There is no turbo, no CVT, and no luxury badge tax. That is simple, long-distance ownership. It is not a tiny car. It has real cargo room, easy entry, and the kind of broad rear space that makes a family crossover feel less necessary. The weak point is the cooling system condition and ignored details. Toyota published a bulletin for a steering column pop noise during low-speed turns on certain Venzas. Turn the wheel slowly from lock to lock in a parking lot and listen. Check the coolant reservoir cold, then look around the water pump area for pink or white residue. Run the rear hatch repeatedly. Verify every open safety recall by VIN. A Venza can have a strong drivetrain and still become risky when the owner ignored a leaking pump, dead hatch struts, or a warning light. Rosa had a $7,000 budget and kept seeing rough compact SUVs with less room. She chose a Venza with 140,000 highway miles, fresh tires, water pump paperwork, and a clean inspection instead of the lowest priced listing. She buys the better record, protects her wallet, and gets more comfort for less money. That is the survivor mindset. Do not let low miles hypnotize you. A Venza that sat outside for years can have brittle hoses, stale brake fluid, and tires too old. Press the brake pedal before the road test. It should feel firm, not sink slowly toward the floor. Switch the air conditioning from cold to hot, then back again, and make sure both sides of the cabin respond. Check the carpet around the front footwells and cargo area for dampness. Water stains tell you to ask more questions. Finally, compare the service folder with the odometer. A vehicle with 160,000 highway miles and steady invoices can be a stronger buy than a low-mile car with a decade of silence. Condition is the decision, not the badge. This is the choice for someone who wants sedan like highway calm, crossover cargo room, and a conventional 6-speed automatic. It is not for real off-road driving, frequent heavy towing, or someone who needs a tiny city footprint. Walk away if the coolant is low, the steering pops hard, the hatch does not work, or the service history is a blank page. The Venza is not exciting in a dealer brochure. It is exciting when the trip is quiet, the cargo fits, the repair path stays normal, and your money remains in the bank. That is why it earns number 1. Buyer Roadmap. The Pontiac Vibe is the basic hatchback pick. Buy the base 1.8, then check coolant traces, rocker rust, tire dates, and recall status before calling it a bargain. The Ford Crown Victoria is the big comfort choice. Buy a civilian LX with a solid frame, smooth warm shifts, and real records, not a mystery fleet sedan. The Ford Escape is the higher seat option. Choose the 2.5, scan for throttle body trouble, and inspect the subframe before your wallet meets a surprise. The Suzuki SX4 is the Snow State Special. Check AWD operation, axle boots, rust, keys, and local parts access. The Acura TL is the low-dollar luxury choice. Timing, belt-proof, and warm transmission behavior matter more than leather or navigation. The Hyundai Elantra Touring is the small wagon answer. Demand timing belt invoices, dry cargo flooring, and clean rear suspension mounts. The Mazda 3i is the practical driver's compact. Buy it stock, inspect rockers and tire wear, and avoid somebody else's unfinished project. The Toyota Yaris is the cheap commuter. Check the spare tire well, brakes, all 4 tire dates, and warm shifts before trusting the low miles. The Nissan Xterra is the tough SUV option. Start in 2011, inspect the frame, smell the transmission fluid, and test 4-wheel drive before paying truck money. The Toyota Venza is the best all-around space and comfort choice. Check coolant, steering noise, rear hatch function, VN campaigns, and service records before believing the low asking price. The rule across every one of these cars is simple. A great engine does not save a neglected body, old tires, bad fluid, or missing records. Buy condition, inspect the weak point, and leave enough money for baseline maintenance. Click the next video playing on your screen right now. It covers cheap cars that look like bargains, then become expensive mistakes. Subscribe now and keep your wallet protected today.